Hello everyone, welcome to this news on Equinoxe television right from our headquarters in Cameroon's economic capital, Douala. I am Bable Jonathan. In our top stories in this edition of the news, as the next academic year draws near, several schools remain closed and have been closed for over 5 years now in the two English-speaking regions of the Republic of Cameroon in socio-political and security tensions 6 years running. And now some of the inhabitants of some parts of the two English-speaking regions of the country are demanding that the schools in their areas be reopened so that their children can go to school without taking the risk of traveling across long distances in order to acquire knowledge. And also in this newscast, we will talk about bishops in the Republic of Cameroon who were standing up against medically assisted conception of children, and they are saying that this is against God and should not be encouraged. We begin this newscast in the town of Kumba, Meme Division, southwest region of the Republic of Cameroon, where improvised explosive devices continue making news within the context of the unstable socio-political and security situation reigning there and across Anglophone Cameroon for close to 6 years now. Another improvised explosive device has been detected and destroyed by security and defense forces. Inosenazi has more.
The improvised explosive device was discovered in another snack bar Tuesday evening at about 9 p.m. at Conference Street Junction in Fiango, Kumba. According to security officials on the scene, accompanied by Untitled Chamberlain, Meme SDO, they were tipped off by an informant that a locally made bomb has been hidden in the snack bar. They quickly headed to the targeted drinking spot and conducted a search, which led them to the explosive device. It took the military about 3 hours to deactivate the locally made bomb, since they had to tie it with a rope and carefully pull the explosive device out of the snack bar to the roadside before shooting it to explode.
Open the mouth. 2, 1, fire! I had a meeting with all of you last time. All of you in the office and talking all of you to check all those who are coming in your various premises. So how exactly can happen is easy. But you thank God.
Meme SDO Untitled Chamberlain reassured the population that the military is working very hard and tirelessly to protect their lives and properties.
Let me reassure the population that the forces of law and order are working hard in order to lay hand to those criminals who are disturbing peace and security here in town. They can be reassured. Very soon they are going to be arrested. So last week I signed a prefectural order forbidding entry in all the drinking spots in town with bags. The forces of law and order, let me once more encourage them and congratulate them for the job well done.
This is the second improvised explosive device discovered in popular bars within a month. The first was discovered in a bar around Boya Road, Kumba 1 subdivision, and deactivated same way like the second by the military.
The use of improvised explosive devices by unidentified individuals, and in the case of the northwest and southwest regions of the Republic of Cameroon by alleged separatist fighters, is now a major threat to the security and safety of the people, not only in the northwest and southwest regions of the country, but also in the town of Douala, the economic capital of the country, and the political capital, Yaoundé. The town of Douala has recorded at least 2 explosions of improvised explosive devices, and the town of Yaoundé at least 3, and authorities are now stepping up efforts to stop this threat. And because of the 6-year-long armed conflict in the northwest and southwest regions of the Republic of Cameroon, several schools in many parts of the two English-speaking regions have been closed. The schools have not been operational because of insecurity, and as the next academic year draws near, some inhabitants of some of the areas where the schools have been shut down as a result of insecurity are now demanding that the schools should be reopened so that the pupils and students of Cameroon. David Sumaimo has more in this report.
5 years, the lone government high school in the area, Government High School Bojongo, has not been functional due to the ongoing Anglophone armed conflict.
I'm Chief Moka Emmanuel Etoni of Wasenge Village. Where I'm standing is GHS Bojongo, which have been down for years since 2017. There has not been any education that is going on here.
I am Chief Donald Likini Eko of Bojoke Village. We are really pleading with whosoever for close to 5 years now because of the crisis. The school has been running down my fall, that they should allow our children to go to school. If they don't go to school, they have no future. Children should be kept out of any issue that is going on.
The school was shut down and transferred to Bonatikomo Maifo in Limbe at the detriment of the people.
And they have been going out for studies, which we are not happy. We have been spending a lot of money to send the children out of this community.
We have so many dropouts. Some of them are pregnant. So many children drop out of school because of the situation. So we really wish that the school should come back soon.
Some of our children are not going to school because we did not have the means to pay them rent outside, to go to school outside. So they are at home. We are suffering here because of the crisis also.
I'm Chief Mbake of Buana Village. Education is the primary factor for everybody. Now that things are coming to a calm situation, that's what we say. We are pleading that the school should come back.
A call from the traditional leaders of the area saw the people from the young to the old engaged in a community exercise, clearing the school premises which has been in the bush in anticipation of the school to resume 2022-2023 academic year.
In the village, we'll be happy, the women will be happy, our students, our children will be happy. They will not go outside, they will not stress to go outside and do their studies. That's why we are working.
We love that as we are putting the effort, the government to see about our effort and give us security.
I are praying the authorities that they should bring back this school. Our children are suffering a lot. This is the only lone school that we have. Look at the population, which is it not so? Yeah.
The lone secondary school caters for children from the 20 villages that makes up the Bojongo Court area.
David Sunmaimo reporting there. And for close to 6 years that the crisis has been raging on in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon, the government maintains the decentralization process, and the authorities have been saying that the acceleration of the decentralization process on the ground is solving the problem and is the way out, despite calls for a return to the federal system of government. But how effective is the decentralization process? Derek Jato went finding out answers to this question on the occasion of the decentralization being observed on the African continent. Today, his report.
As Africa celebrates the 11th edition of Decentralization and Local Development Day, many say in Cameroon decentralization is still a process, and even at that, the said process in itself is very slow. To Barrister Edward Yonga Ewule, for Cameroonians to be convinced that the government is serious, there should be a deadline.
We should come up, our parliament should sit and say, okay, we are giving a deadline, maybe the end of 2022. By the end of 2022, power on various ministries must have been devolved to local authority, must have been devolved to local councils. We should have deadlines. Up to now, things are just moving in a very slow pace. And Vice President Chief Akeme Baku cried foul that how can even the computer of the regional house be in French? It shows that the computer itself was sent from Yaoundé. So these are some of the issues.
But Ngembane Daniel Ekule, the Inspector General at the Southwest Governor's Office, insisted that the decentralization process is very impressive and need the contributions of everyone.
Decentralization is a tool for development, and the government has realized this, and the government is putting more emphasis and more importance to the decentralization process.
He is just from coordinating a roundtable conference here in Boya as part of the activities to celebrate the day. Prior to this day, the Southwest Regional Delegation of Decentralization and Local Development, in collaboration with the Southwest Civil Status Registration and Vital Statistics, better known in its French acronym as UNEC, took the awareness campaign to the street of Boya by organizing a sport walk, among others, during which Joseph Nabele Mukete, the Southwest Regional Delegate for Decentralization and Local Development, pointed out that decentralization process is gaining grounds.
Today we are talking of the regions. We are talking of a law, a code, only on decentralization. We are talking of House of Chiefs. We are talking of special status. We are talking of modernizing the civil status registration process. All those are part of decentralization. You have seen the creation of NASNA.
Now 5 years old, the Southwest Regional Director for BUNEC, Ashu Sinkes John Paul, outlined the contribution of BUNEC in a region like Southwest hit by war.
The population, especially the internally displaced persons, have access to civil status documents, the birth certificates, the marriage certificate, and the death certificates, which are very, very important in the life of every individual.
It is now no secret in Cameroon that much is being talked about decentralization, but it is the wish of everyone to see that the thought, words and actions of the actors are sincere.
And in line with the Decentralization Day and the close to 6-year-long armed conflict in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon, the Deputy British High Commissioner to Cameroon ends a one-day fact-finding mission in the northwest region of the Republic of Cameroon. You want to know what he found out as far as the crisis is concerned and the implementation of the decentralization process that his government has been supporting on the ground, with Bustella in this report.
The British High Commissioner to Cameroon, Nigel Holmes, was in the company of Sam Noble, Political Affairs Officer at the British High Commission in Cameroon. Both diplomats were on a fact-finding mission to abreast themselves with the notion and functioning of the Northwest Regional Assembly, given that the decentralization process is supported by the UK in Cameroon.
We're here in Bamenda on a fact-finding mission after this meeting today. Is to come back with my team and develop new ideas for supporting decentralization nationwide, but also thinking in particular about the Northwest and the Southwest regions.
At the conference hall of the Northwest Regional Assembly, the President, Professor Fru Angwafo III, presented the diplomats with the Northwest Regional Plan that consisted of feasibility studies carried out on mainly infrastructure and basic social amenities, with the greatest challenge being the lack of funds to execute the earmarked projects. In his response to the plan, the Deputy British High Commissioner signaled the readiness of the UK to support new ideas that will push forward the decentralization process in Cameroon and also see the realization of the Northwest Regional Development Plan.
We want to support, we want to help, we want to share our experiences. We can offer maybe advice on financial competencies, we can offer advice on raising finance in general. I'm also really keen that the High Commission's job is to bang the drum for Britain in Cameroon, but also to help Cameroon bang the drum for itself in the UK.
While in Bamenda, the diplomats also paid a courtesy visit at the Northwest Governor's Office and also the palace of the Fond of Mancon, Angwafo IV.
Another issue provoking social tensions across the Republic of Cameroon, especially in the major cities of the country, is the problem of land Quarrels. And now in the city of Chang, this issue is provoking friction between the population and threatening the social peace of that part of the west region of the country. Details in this report compiled by Essie Lucy Biengo.
In the early hours of Wednesday, August 10, 2022, inhabitants of Foreke Chang West region of Cameroon gathered to protest against the planting of a Chinese company on their land. To the locals, they have been using this land for the extraction and crushing of stones, helping them for their day-to-day life. We use this land to have our daily bread. Some people are fighting to seize it away from us. If they tell us everything belongs to the government, we then ask ourselves if we are not citizens of the country. The stones which has been extracted from this land has helped in the construction of schools in our village. We also benefit from this by sending our children to school. Considered as the main source of revenue, locals say the stone extraction site has served about 500 people. We are not here to fight with the administration. Since 1956, our parents use this medium to feed us, so it's our lone refuge. It was created as a career to help families. Why do they want our children to starve? This is a sign of banditry that, if accepted by the government, meaning they are exposing our children to the streets. And if a hungry child steals, even God won't be happy. As a means to protect their land, the population sat on the ground while the mayor of Chang, in the local language, tried consoling them. Unfortunately, all efforts went in vain as the population maintained that the government and elite must come to their rescue.
And some flaws and excesses in the functioning and activities of municipal police, especially in the major cities of Cameroon, the political capital Yaoundé and the economic capital Douala, have been provoking a tense atmosphere and causing commotion sometimes in some parts of the city of Douala in particular. And now the President of the Republic wants this to stop. He has clearly defined the roles and activities of the municipal police, and also highlighting where they can be sanctioned and the limits to their powers. This is contained in a presidential decree signed and made public yesterday. For me, Armstrong Sander report.
The presidential decree comprises 38 articles divided into 7 chapters. According to the terms of the decree, the purpose of the municipal police is to ensure good order as well as public safety, tranquility, security and health. It exercises this competence on the territory of the municipality or the urban community. Placed under the authority of the mayor, municipal policing consists of cleaning, public lightening, the removal of clutters, the demolition or renovation of buildings threatened by rains, the facilitation of the crossing of the road for pupils and other users. According to Article 5, municipal police officers can replace law enforcement and security forces. Paragraph 2 adds that they cannot use force nor exercise coercion on the population except in cases of self-defense. They perform their duties between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. according to Article 6. They will be recognizable by their purple uniform. The creation of the municipal police service is done by deliberation of the municipal council according to Article 7. The municipal police service has the means to accomplish its mission. These are the human resources that the mayor can recruit beside rolling stock and equipment. These material resources are acquired by the mayor for the benefit of the service. These services can be suspended by the senior divisional officer for a period of 1 month.
3 reasons can however justify this sanction, notably the widespread of abuses committed by the officers without any action being taken by the mayor to put an end to it, and the non-compliance with the rules of municipal policing, notably the violation of the provisions of the current presidential decree. This presidential decree comes at a time when road users, especially bike riders and taxi drivers, have been having disagreements with these municipal police agents. 4 months ago, the Douala City Mayor recruited some 450 agents to maintain order in the 6 subdivisions of the city of Douala. For me, I'm Sean Sander, Equinoxe Radio, Douala.
There has been growing interest on medically assisted conception of children in Cameroon and other parts of the African continent. But the bishops of Cameroon say this is against God, and they have written a letter highlighting this issue and condemning it and saying the church is not standing for this because it is against biblical principles. Immaculate Fogwe files in details in this report.
Cameroon rise against unnatural conception of children. In a 6-page document, they unanimously condemn the act, saying it is against the gospel and teachings of the church. Medically assisted procreation involves the use of medical techniques to bring about the conception of a child. It works by removing the eggs from the ovaries. The eggs are then mixed with the sperm in the laboratory to make embryos. The embryos are then put into the woman's body. According to the bishops, the church will not intervene in such an act, but it however reminds those involved of their ethical responsibility. They say a baby is considered as a gift and blessing from God, but it must be rooted by divine recommendation made by God. Despite being aware of the challenges faced by some couples to have a child, they urge researchers to rather research techniques of procreation that preserve the dignity of human life and does not pose a serious ethical and doctrinal problem. To them, the only acceptable principle is techniques of assisted procreation that facilitates conjugal act or helps achieve its natural objectives.
As I said earlier, there's been a growing interest in medically assisted procreation in recent times in Cameroon and elsewhere on the African continent. Now, in the report coming up next, Annabila brings out the worries, the cries, the lamentations of the people in Lokpom in the city of Douala. The people are lamenting over forceful eviction. Their homes have been destroyed. A report.
Business persons and private individuals at Lokpom pick up important documents plus gadgets from the rubble of their buildings. The structures have been demolished by agents of the Douala City Council. The affected people are worried their buildings were destroyed, though they are in possession of valid land titles. I have a land title. I think even if the road has to pass, we should have been convocated and told what to do. We can't mark and come less than 2 weeks to start demolishing.
10 jours. Vous venez casser.
Others complain they have been staying in Lokpom for over 20 years and should have been contacted for discussions.
C'est depuis 2002 que je suis ici. Sur ce terrain que vous voyez là.
I am here since 2000. I am surprised because I was on leave and I was called and informed that a cross has been put on my gate. I came back yesterday and had to go and ask from the council what it is all about. Today I got up and saw people demolishing.
De quoi il est question? Subitement, on m'appelle dans la maison pour me dire voilà les gens de la mairie qui sont venus détruire.
Some landlords at the affected area say the demolition was discriminatory.
Je suis d'accord qu'ils cassent. Moi, ça me gêne pas qu'ils aient cassé. Moi, j'aimerais bien avoir une belle ville. Mais
I am okay that they destroy it because I also want a beautiful city. They marked from here to Tradex. They demolished mine, but they didn't break that of others. I don't know if we will even be compensated.
Ils me cassent dans un titre foncier. Je ne sais pas si on aura un délogement ou pas.
L'on nous avait dit qu'on est en train de dominer. Malheureusement, ils ne nous ont pas laissé.
They told us they were going to demolish, but they didn't give us enough time to take away our machines. Everything has been destroyed. We have lost about 1 million francs CFA.
Sortir un ensemble de matériel.
The Douala City Council had earlier sent out a communique about a week before the demolition, informing the concerned population to take away every valuable item from the area to be demolished.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for staying with us. Coming up next, Talking Point. Our guest today, Dr. Nicholas Ngo Santo, joins us from the United States of America. You're welcome.
It's nice being here today again. Thank you, Mr. Babila Jonathan, for always giving me the opportunity to come in time after time to weigh on the present political situation in our beloved country, Cameroon. It's a pleasure for me being here.
Now let us start with the problem of insecurity and violence in the major cities of the Republic of Cameroon, your home country. And this problem is seriously threatening the lives of city dwellers in Yaoundé, in Douala, in Bafoussam and other parts of the country. Yesterday, a group of violent young people attacked at least 2 neighborhoods here in Cameroon's economic capital, Douala, attacking persons, wounding some of them before making away with their belongings and money. And this is a phenomenon that has been increasing, particularly here in the town of Douala. And this violence and insecurity has been growing in different parts of the country. What's your take on this?
Understand the concerns about insecurity, especially in Yaoundé and Douala, the Francophone cities, whereas the northwest and southwest regions of the country have also been in problem or crisis for the past 5 years. Mr. Babila Jonathan, you know, the northwest and southwest, as opposed to Yaoundé and Douala, are different parts of the same body. It's all Cameroon. It's our country. And you know, as a consequence of having lived together for a long time, the two sides are like one because there have been intermarriages, there have been relationships, there have been blood relationships that have developed, that if one side is sick for so long a time, the other parts too got to be affected because the illness is coming from the same place, which is as a result of governance, because you know, one make decisions to put bread on the table is the government policy and decisions with regards to economy, with regards to education, with regards to justice, with regards to everything. It comes back to government. If government is well structured, if governance is well structured, if the authorities in place are carrying out things so well in terms of decision making, then I think you won't see insecurities. You won't see young men taking bullets or taking guns and going to the cities of Yaoundé and Douala. You won't see explosives on the streets. You won't see the boys of the northwest and southwest being in the bushes with guns, because it all comes back to governance. If we have to come back and restructure decision making, we have to sit on the table and try to revisit aspects of the constitution, revisit aspects of the instruments that control us on a daily basis. Then you will see that all these moral decadence, crimes and wars will be avoided.
Yesterday with Barrister Neneba Innocent Kufuor, Attorney and Counsel at Law in New York, we were talking about the possibility of a peace deal between the government of the Republic of Cameroon and secessionist leaders. And we're talking about the case of Senegal that decided to negotiate with the Casamance separatist leaders on a neutral ground in Guinea-Bissau, and they signed a peace deal. The Chadian transitional authorities also negotiated with rebels out of the country on a neutral ground in Qatar, and they signed a peace deal. And we're asking the question, why not Cameroon? You, one of the people who initiated a peace conference in Ghana that would have brought together both parties, but it has never happened. It didn't work. Tell us why.
Many factors that led to the Ghana Peace Conference not being a success from the day one. The first issue is the resistance by most of the frontline separatists to not attend the Ghana Peace Conference because of insecurity. Most of them are scared of what happened in Nigeria with the Naira 10, with Seseko Julius Ayoktabe and the others who are currently in Kondenge prison. They will not want to come to the African soil. The only country which in Africa, which even they said they could go there, is South Africa. And they have insisted that for any negotiation or dialogue to take place with them participating, especially people like Cho Ayaba, Chris Anu, Samuel Ekobesako, and others, John Akoro, and the list is long, such a meeting should take place in a neutral venue, and their places of choice is preferably Canada, United States, Great Britain, or Switzerland. You must have heard about, other than Ghana, there was the Swiss peace or Swiss mission that they were trying to come up also with. There were other missions like the Canadian CDN that took place as a building foundation, also leading to proposals of dialogue and negotiation, so as to make the Cameroon government not be saying that they don't know who to dialogue with. So I believe that Ghana Peace Conference is a challenge because of insecurity, and I mean, some of us bought into their idea because nobody would like to negotiate or dialogue under the barrel of gun, or knowing that a country has a dictator that can sign any agreement to send them to Yaoundé. So that was one of the principal reasons that the Ghana Peace Conference experienced a little bit of backlash. Okay, there was also this issue of the organization of the Ghana Peace Conference. You know, most of our organizations that came in were to join the Pan-African Institute for Development. There was also the Swiss peace that was coming in somehow. Then delegations were sent to Yaoundé to solicit sponsorship and other things, and other companies like Brasseries de Cameroon, Guinness, to see if they could sponsor or afford to help in the organization. So in terms of resources, the organizers were not really viable because we had the IPOA, also independent people of Amazonia. We also had the Pan-African Institute. Then we had the Peace Task Force Initiative and the Peace Patriots. We could not have the available resources to pool all these stakeholders into Ghana, even if they accepted without having the necessary resources. So it's high time we declare honestly that the Ghana Peace Conference is not going to take place. It's not going to take place. So we should be working towards other alternatives.
We raised this point that's been coming up again and again on the side of the government authorities who have been questioning with who to negotiate, with who to discuss. And this question has been coming up because of the division, the fractions existing on the side of the separatist leaders, some who are in detention here in Cameroon, some who are in the diaspora, and divided on one point or the other. What do you think about this issue of who to stand and talk on behalf of the secessionist leaders on behalf of Anglophone Cameroonians on a negotiation table.
As when it comes to the most important question of the day, which is what will take for peace to return to the country, is simple. It's simple. For peace to return to the country, it means that those warring parties have to sit on the table without exclusion of anybody. You understand that what happened with the Grand National Dialogue not having been a success is because of the absence of those who are fueling the conflict, the absence of those who are at the forefront of this conflict. And primarily, there are two persons here we're talking about: those who are in jail and those who are in the diaspora who have fled the country, and those who don't have amnesty to come back to the country. If these two camps are represented in any discussion, then that discussion must come out with fruitful results. And I think what the other camp has been proposing for close to 6 years now is, let's sit down and talk in a neutral venue. Let's discuss what the crux of the matter is without us having a barrel of gun on our head or our ears. That's what they are talking about. Let's discuss in a free environment where you are not one of them not gonna be under fear, under duress of arrest. This is what is coming from the camp that is fueling the conflict. And then those in jail are also saying, release us from prison so that we can sit on the table and talk. That's the simple solution. I don't think there are two other cosmetic solutions or other solutions that cannot resolve this issue other than this one. Yeah. If we are being honest to ourselves, we should know that there's misrepresentation. Yeah. You know, I mean, you saw how the French and the British went to war, you know, because of no taxation without representation. So if people want to say that there's going to be an end to this conflict, is by bringing all these parties on the table to seek for a lasting solution. And it's easy. The form of state needs to be addressed. Yes. We understand that decentralization has been given and special status is given. But the people say they don't want what is given. They want to discuss and be a part of what is going to remain for a long time, which means opinions have to be heard and voting has to take place, and if possible, amendments of resolutions that are going to make the new constitution of the land, the new law of the land. I mean, we want something that will lead to a long-lasting solution, not a cosmetic solution, because if you see, the main problem with the people is that they still continue to have colonial authorities on their soil. They still continue to have gendarmes, SDOs, military that torture them on daily basis. And if this military has to be withdrawn and the people removed from jail, and then we meet on a neutral venue to discuss and sign a long-lasting deal, this will be the end to the problem.
And the authorities have been saying, and the latest was the senior division officer of the Meme division, that the soldiers, the military, the gendarmes and all the officers are in those two regions not to torture the people, not to kill anybody, not to destroy anything, but to protect the population, to protect the territorial integrity of the Republic of Cameroon, and that they are professional. They have been very, very professional, according to the authorities, with the senior division officer of the Meme division repeating this, and he said it again recently when the military destroyed a locally improvised explosive device planted in the town of Kumba. But there have been contradictions to this coming from the ground, coming from civil society, right organizations with regards to some of the happenings, some of the atrocities in those two regions attributed to the security and defense forces. Now you elaborated on what is needed for the peace process to produce fruits, concrete fruits on the ground. But what about the division, the factions that have erupted in the camp of the separatists, which seems to be a stumbling block to the peace process?
Who has spoken of government do use such statements because of the fragmentation or the division that is amongst the separatist leaders who are piloting the affairs of this conflict. I know that they do not agree on most of the issues. Like even last few days, you must have observed that there was the ghost town that was announced by one camp, and another camp said there was no ghost town. So the contradictions coming is like we don't know really who is in control. So what is going to happen now is that if the government indicate that they want to dialogue or they want to negotiate, it's not a matter of inviting Camp A or Camp B. It's a matter of inviting everybody and treating them on an equal basis without regarding anyone in particular to be superior over the other. Because what we know is that for sure the leader or the leadership of the conflict is in jail. Seseko Ayok, Julius Tabe, Fongalanfo, and the others are the most principal persons, including Mancho BBC of the Coffin Revolution. These are the people who really control the conflict on the ground, no matter being in jail. We know that. The rest outside here is just confusion. And let me tell you, the only important thing is that the various different factions have been able to provide a basket whereby
Dr. Nicholas Santos, we're rounding up with this very quickly. You're one of the Cameroonians who have been recognized by the United States government with a number of achievements and awards. Tell us about this before we go very quickly.
Be receiving the United States President's Lifetime Achievement Award. And this award is given as a result of my volunteering and professional expertise in the domain of mental health and psychological work in the United States of America, as well as leadership and humanitarian work. So this is one of the greatest achievements award that is given for people who have realized milestones of achievements within their practice in the United States of America. And as a mental health practitioner and as a psychologist or clinical psychologist, which in Cameroon we refer to as psychiatrist, I've been working with mentally ill people across the various states of the United States of America for close to 7 years, and I've had many awards, but this is the most important of it all. The first award was a scholarship that I had for about 1.3 million CFA, which is like $2,500 during my doctorate school. And then I also had an award. That first award was called the Opportunity Scholarship Award. And then the second award was for treating critically mentally ill patients. And this is the National Alliance of Mentally Ill, the California National Alliance of Mentally Ill Certification and Award that was given to me in 2015. Then last year, which was 2021, I had the best clinical instructor the honorary clinical instructor award, which was the best clinical instructor for master's degree nurse practitioners in the field of psychotherapy and group counseling, and that's from Walden University, 2021. And in 2022, I'm having the United States President Lifetime Achievement Award, and that will be taking place next month at the National Press of the National Convention Center downtown in Washington, D.C. And, the office of this issuing this award is in the White House. And so the East Wing of the White House. So this will be in partnership with the Black Congressional Caucus.
Dr. Nicholas Santo, human rights and peace advocate, thank you so much for joining us today. That's it for today's edition of the 6 p.m. newscast on Equinoxe Television. Goodbye.
Equinoxe Télévision, au-delà de l'image, nous rendons compte.
De lundi à vendredi sur Equinoxe Télévision.
Comment vous expliquez ce qui arrive au Cameroun au regard de son potentiel?
Un pays qui a des problèmes énergétiques compromet ses chances vers l'émergence.
Vous avez suivi les panélistes, on se plaint, rien n'a véritablement changé. C'est comme si on n'avait même jamais mis sur pied tous ces projets.
De quoi que ce que nous disons ou nous voulons faire comprendre n'est pas totalement vrai. La preuve est que nous avons l'énergie ici.
Quand c'est pas bon, vous changez les gens, vous changez la façon de faire. Si on est SND chante aujourd'hui, ça veut dire que le DSN n'a pas marché.
Je vous dis, le réchauffement climatique ne peut pas être à l'origine des problèmes que nous avons aujourd'hui.
Le préfet a décidé d'aller en mission, on va dire comme ça, pédagogique. Comment vous interprétez cette descente de l'autorité préfectorale?
Selon certaines informations, il y a des endroits où tel collecte pour l'autre, les autres payent chez tel et ça ne se retrouve pas chez le receveur.
Il faut que ceux qui dirigent, ceux qui font dans cette affaire-là comprennent qu'on ne peut plus avoir des marchés fourre-tout.
On se retrouve demain lorsqu'il sera 19h. Bonsoir, Lord Paume.
Ce dimanche sur Equinoxe Télévision.
Je demande qui est mamie. C'est devenu une chanson. Je dis balayer le sol, j'ai cours. Je dis lave les assiettes, j'ai cours. Tu as cours, n'est-ce pas? Va. Tu vas revenir, tu ne vas rien manger. Tu as cours au campus. J'ai fréquenté. Oh, madame. C'est quoi ça? Tu parles comme ça? C'est dans ce sac que tu as mis tes cahiers et tes livres pour les cours? Hein? C'est dans ce sac? Oh. Je vous donne rendez-vous ce dimanche
à l'émission Dimanche avec vous à partir de 14h
sur Equinoxe Télévision.
Everything Dr. Arthur Kanganga needs to know about his patient is available on this tablet computer. His clinic was one of the first in Gabon to digitize its documentation. If there's a complication, we can get to the bottom of it quickly because we don't have to sift through a pile of medical records. So the patient gets better care. Fabrice Yonawa is the man behind the software. He takes the time to explain to the health professional all the possibilities the program has to offer. Only a few files are left on the shelves that used to store patient records. All the blood tests, prescriptions and appointments are now registered digitally. Fabrice Yonawa explains to the clinic administrator that the data can be accessed from any ward. The program was built especially for the hospital's needs. Not every hospital in Africa has internet. It's available in 1 out of 2 hospitals, or maybe 1 out of 3. So we needed a solution that wasn't dependent on the internet. Within the clinic, the system runs on an internal network. However, an internet connection is required to share information with other clinics. Yonawa and his team of 12 have spent more than 5 years developing the software, and they constantly update it to meet new requirements. The basic software package costs around €1,500.
On achète un logiciel.
Often one buys software which may function 100%, but when it arrives in Africa, only 30% of it is useful here. That's not what you'd expect from a good investment, right? So our developers first analyze the need and then create software that is 100% adapted to our local needs. Gabon is one of Africa's richest countries, yet income is highly skewed. 1/3 of its people live in poverty. This is one reason why Yonawa returned home after completing his computer science studies in France. He wants to make a difference, but it can be frustrating. Tell someone here, try this because that's how it's done all over. They'll say, no, they only do what they know, and that's not good. Still, perseverance outweighs strength, Fabrice Yonawa says, citing an African proverb. The number of Gabonese hospitals that want to go digital is growing slowly but steadily. And meanwhile, the developer is already working on a new project. It's about software that someday could help connect Gabon's school children.
Nicholas Wambua is busy marking the borders of his farm outside Nairobi. Usually farmers here use wooden posts for their fences, but Nicholas has bought a new product.
Compared to the normal poles, the lifespan of this one is longer than the normal poles, so I prefer this one. It is reducing the destruction of forest, because now you find we are lessening the cutting of the trees in our country. So I am for it, because our ecosystem is being controlled.
On the outskirts of Nairobi, the posts are produced by a new innovative company. EcoPost is the brainchild of Lorna Ruto, a former banker. She came up with an ingenious way of getting rid of the city's plastic waste by making eco-friendly posts from recycled plastic.
All this plastic waste has been collected from various dump sites, some streets, and even homes, people's homes. So we bring them here. This is the first step. They are flooded from the truck. Then we store them until we get a good quantity. From there, we are able to take them into processing.
Every month, EcoPost gives 40 to 50 tons of plastic waste new life as building material. In its first year of operation, it produced more than 5,000 posts, removing hundreds of tons of plastic waste from the environment.
We crush the sawdust and we mix it with the plastic, and we make very good aesthetic and quality posts that can be used even for now building. And it's an alternative to timber, so by so doing we're able to save a lot of trees, and we hope to save the 2% forest cover that is remaining in Kenya.
Kenya has a massive problem with deforestation. Much of the wood is used as building material. EcoPost offers not only an alternative, it also removes plastic waste, which helps limit toxic pollution, something Karanya Nyoroche strongly endorses.
The society is part of the problem. A problem in the sense that they are the source of that waste, and they should actually be responsible on how to dispose of it. If there is a market, and that market generates 2-3 tons every day of waste plastic, then the market should have regulatory guidelines on how to recycle whatever they generate. Then we'll end up with less plastic strewn on the streets or in the landfills.
Every year, Kenya's plastic waste grows almost tenfold. Lorna Ruto has shown that it's also a resource which can generate